Hi, it's me, Kat, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what happens when you're punished unfairly. When you're in a master-slave relationship, you give all of your control to your master. You don't get to say what he punishes you for, when he punishes you, why he punishes you, or if you get punished fairly. What got me to thinking about this was last week, I got punished for something that I didn't really feel that I deserved to be punished for. I hadn't really done anything wrong, and I got punished. Now, me being me, and hopefully that you can learn from my mistakes, but me being the little smart-ass slave that I am, I decided to have an attitude, because I was ticked off that he had punished me, and I hadn't done anything to deserve it. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, aren't you a slave? Yes, I am. And I do not get to decide when I get punished, or why I get punished, and what I get punished for. So the whole having an attitude thing got me punished very hard. And I was having the attitude because I felt that I had been treated unjustly. And you know, I'm human. I make mistakes, and when somebody does something that you think is wrong, and they're just really, and you think you've been treated unjustly, sometimes, or at least I don't, like I said, I'm human, I don't stop and say, well, I'm a slave, and these things happen, and it's not my choice. I'm like, hey, that wasn't right. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything to get punished for. You shouldn't have punished me. Well, that's not the best thing to say to your master or your dom, because they tend to like to prove things to you when you tell them they shouldn't have or couldn't have or can't or won't. So, and after I got punished for my attitude, I got punished for being disrespectful. And after I got punished for being disrespectful, I got put back in my place. So, it was not a good night for me. I didn't enjoy it. I was sore inside and out the next day. I was totally humiliated. By the time my master got finished with me, there was no doubt in my mind that I was a slave, I was his property, and he could punish me when or where or any time that he wanted to for any reason. Was no longer having a problem with that. So there are probably going to be times when you submit to somebody that you're going to be punished for something that you don't deserve or you don't feel like you deserve. My master doesn't have to be fair to me. 98% of the time he is fair. It's one of the things that I really like about him. He just is fair. It's just part of his makeup. It's part of who he is. But he doesn't have to be fair, and you know, some of us have to learn things the hard way, and hopefully, you know, somebody listening to this can take my advice. And it would have been a whole lot better night if I had accepted the punishment, came back the next day, you know, after reports, and said, Master, there's something I'd really like to talk to you about. You punished me last night, and I didn't think it was fair, and I just felt like I shouldn't have been punished, and then we could have talked about it. I mean, you know, it wouldn't have changed anything. I would have still been punished, but I wouldn't have had the attitude adjustment. I wouldn't have been taught my place, and I wouldn't have got punished for, you know, being disrespectful. So, you know, it's probably going to happen at some point in your relationship, and it's something that you need to understand that you're going to have to deal with, and that there's not really anything that you can do about it. Now, I'm not talking about an abusive relationship or, you know, a master that's not taking care of your welfare and is constantly just, you know, punishing you for no reason, just to thoroughly make you miserable, or, you know, abusing you in any way. But there are gonna be times when you're just not going to agree with the punishment, or you're not going to think that you deserve the punishment. But it basically all comes down to the fact that when you're a slave, and you are your master's property, and as his property, he can do whatever he wants with you. You know, if he wants to punish you for standing on your head and wiggling your toes, then, you know, he can do that. And just because you don't think that you should have been punished doesn't change the fact that he still has the right to punish you. And, you know, so that's just something that you need to be prepared to deal with. That there are going to be times when you're going to be punished when you don't deserve it, or you don't feel you deserve it. There are going to be times you are going to be punished really hard for some small thing, and you're just going to have to deal with it. You're just going to have to accept it. There's times when you're going to be, you know, really wanting or craving some much needed attention, and you're thinking everything's going great, and wham, out of the blue, you know, your master's going to come up with this, that, and the other that you didn't even realize that you did wrong, and you're going to get punished for it. It's going to ruin your night, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, just something that you need to be aware of, and you just need to find a better way to deal with it than I did. You know, masters and dominants do not like slaves and submissives getting in their face, telling them, you know, you're wrong, stop, don't do it, I don't like it, you were unfair, yada yada yada. And you're just going to get yourself in more trouble. So, I guess that's all I have to say, is just, you know, be aware of it and find a good way to deal with it. You know your master, you know your dominant, and you know the best way to deal with them. And take the time to stop and remember who and what you are, and act accordingly, or you might get very rudely reminded. So that's all I have to say on this subject. So have a good night, and we will talk to you later.